Joy to the world and hallelujah. Christmas is the winter holiday that we celebrate here in the Lamb home. Hi, my name is Holly and we're celebrating Christmas in this video. All right, we're starting off with these letters that I found at the Dollar Tree. These are the 3-inch letters and they're in the teacher section. And what I'm doing here is I'm counting the letters for Merry Christmas, including one space in between the two words. 15 letters, and 14 letters with the space is 15. So the 8th letter was the middle. And so I'll be, yep, there's the H, number 8. And so that will be the middle of our sign that we're going to be creating with these green letters. All right. Now, in each package, there are 3 of each letter, which is really nice for me if I'm using them at school and stuff. I can make lots of bulletin boards and that sort of thing and I don't have to go and cut them out in the library. So they're real handy to get for $1.25. I'm going to be using this sign that I got at Michael's last winter when they were 80% off. It's a really nice little sign. I'm actually going to use this right now. I'm going to turn it around because I'm going to antique wax from Waverly both sides. And I just kind of brush it on there, and I'll eventually take off that rope and those little D hooks because I'm going to use this as a leaner. And so I just kind of rub it in, get it all nice and even. And these signs usually from Michael's and different places, Hobby Lobby, they usually are really nice and they stain up very well with that antique wax. And so I'm going to center on that H. And to make sure they're all straight, what I did is I took one of my nail files, one of the little ones, and I cut it off to where I wanted the bottom of each letter. And I used my thumb there and I held it up against the bottom of the sign. And then I took my pencil and I drew on the top of that nail file. And so that's how I'm going to, instead of drawing a big line all the way across the sign, that's how I chose to make sure that my letters were not going to be going, gradually up or gradually down. We were going to keep them nice and straight. And so I'm just going to take some Mod Podge and I'm going to decoupage these on here. Yep, very easy with my little dots, lining them up on the bottom of the letter. And we know we're starting in the middle and we'll work our way out so that the letters are nice and even on the sign. That's how I do that. I do that on bulletin boards at school as well. So there goes the S. And now you see the other letters are sitting there as well. This is a surprise decoupage little project I'm going to be doing for you. I watched Lynn from L&J Goods here on YouTube, and they have a great website as well. Saw her do this little mixed media project one day on one of her lives, and I just thought, I've got to give this a try. She used scrapbook papers. See, I've decoupaged all 3 of those letters on top of one another. So I was showing you I've got some texture there. It's going to be, the letters stick up a little bit. So now we know with decoupage, best practice is decoupage your pictures on top of a light surface, a white or an off-white, but a light surface so that the colors in the picture in the decoupage paper or napkin or whatever you're going to be gluing will show up best. And so here I go. Lynn kept us on the edge of our seats as she was working on her mixed media project. And so I saw her paint right over that scrapbook paper that she so lovingly glued on to her board. But I hung in there with her. Now, I'm going to take my finger on my second coat of that linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. I am going to kind of carve out the raised lettering that I already have glued on there. And so you can see a little bit of the green. Now, this gloss coverage of the letters, I am going to just shortly show you that I did it, but on the next surprise decoupage project, I'm not going to use that because I only show you that I didn't need it, and so I didn't go to the trouble of that step. So I only showed it to you because the letters were shiny right there, and you probably would wonder why in the world are the letters shiny. I did put some gloss Mod Podge. I thought it would make it stronger, but honestly didn't need it. After the paint, a couple coats of paint, and decoupaging those letters on there, they were plenty strong enough to hold up to what I'm getting ready to do. All right, so I'm using these Roycycled Christmas decoupage papers, and I'm going to be gluing them down. I'm still just using Mod Podge here, and I'm just doing them little section by little section. I had 2 of the papers, and I cut out all of the ones that had to do with, like, post, a card, a postcard, a Christmas letter. And it had lots of beautiful, look at those Roycycled papers, are so pretty. I also have, put L&J Goods, which is Lynn's YouTube channel, down in my description box. And I also have put Royce from Roycycled Papers YouTube channel down as well, because they always have lots of interesting videos, and I really enjoy watching both of them craft, but especially I enjoy watching Lynn and listening to her daughter on their lives. They're a lot of fun to listen to and watch, and Lynn is so very talented and so pleasant to watch. All right, now you see that I'm putting them right over those letters. In this particular piece of decoupage, there's a little lamb. I thought it was a little lamb. Honestly, it might be a little dog. I don't know. It's some cute little toy. But that cute little toy, I didn't want its face to be on that Y because of what I'm getting ready to do in just a second. So I wanted to make sure his little face was down below the Y. Now I had 2 little tears in my decoupage, so all I'm doing here, you can see that one right there, is I'm going to cover this one up with a little bit of holly, and then there's one little bitty tear right there, and then I just cut out one of those little posts designs, and we'll put it right on top. Fixes it no problem. All right, these papers are a nice weight. They're definitely heavier than napkins, so they take a little effort to kind of sand off there, but they are still thin enough to be just super easy to deal with. All right, so now you see me using my nail file, which is linked down below. I get those in bulk from Amazon and use them all the time. And what I'm doing, there I'm working on that Y around that little lamb, we'll call it. And I'm finishing the, sanding off the edges. But I'm also sanding everywhere else, which is going to pick up the letters because they're raised, because I made sure that they were thick. Now, honestly, you can see them right there. Yep, and I'm still sanding. Now I'm using a sanding block from Dollar Tree, and I'm just kind of doing a circular motion over the whole thing, picking up any wrinkles that might have been there. I've sanded them down smooth now, so that when I clear wax, this is clear wax, then that gives it a beautiful matte finish, and it will look super kind of rustic and beautiful. Yeah, very pretty. So honestly, this crackle Mod Podge probably wasn't necessary, but I did want to add a little bit of glitter. This is Christmassy. I don't use glitter much throughout the year, but boy, I love to use glitter at Christmas time, as a lot of crafters do. And so I'm using the crackle Mod Podge, and if you got really, really close, you can tell that it's crackle, but because I put the glitter on and because I'm dabbing it here, you're not really supposed to do that with crackle medium. But I'm taking a dry brush now and just wiping off the extra. I didn't want it to actually cure into that clear wax. And so you just barely get that hint of glitter. Beautiful little suggestion. You see those gorgeous decoupage Roycycled papers, the little mushrooms, goodness, and the postcards. And the beautiful cardinal. So pretty. Pine cones, and there's our little lamb. Little girl reaching for some money on the tree, and a little kitty cat. And just that hint of Merry Christmas. Just that gentle wish. I like how that turned out. Nice surprise. All right. Now, in my last video, I kind of gave you a little preview of this. At Rose's, I was out and about, and I found these little pillars. And, you know, right now, this summer, I'm all about, I've got wedding brain because my daughter, of course, is getting married this October. So, always thinking about ways to do centerpieces and different vignettes and setups. And so I saw these pillars, and I've seen them before at Rose's, but never gave them much look. Now, that says $22.99, but that's not the price. Those big, huge pillars were $16. So I'm going to spray them with this metallic gold, which is what I've been spraying a lot of stuff with for the wedding. And I did that frame for the last video. And so now I'm going to show you two different ways that I'm going to kind of distress or oxidize these, or faux oxidize these pillars. I've sprayed them that metallic gold, and which has a satiny finish. And so now I'm going to do a whitewash. I'm going to show you two of the pillars in whitewash and two with white wax. And so I've got my little mister bottle, and I get these from Amazon, and they're kind of like the Power Wash bottles for my Dawn Power Wash. And they have that continuous spray going on. I like them very much. And so then I just take a paper towel, and I'm just going to buff it like I would with white wax. And if it gets a little bit too tough to wipe off, I just spray it a little bit. A little bit of dripping is fine with me. We're going with that kind of vintage oxidized look. Yep. There we go. Kevin's putting a fork in the sink. And I love how this is turning out. Look at how the raised edges, I'm trying to buff them back to get that gold to shine through, but then to leave all the white paint in the recesses. I've just mixed about half and half. Half paint and half water. And look at that pretty, pretty finish on that metallic gold. All right, so I did two in the white wash, and now I'm going to use Debbie's DIY white wax. And this is the creamiest, easiest wax to use. It is so nice to work with. Watch how easy. I'm just working it in. I'm using a chip brush from the Dollar Tree to get it in every crack and crevice. One thing about these pillars from this discount store, Rose's, is they do have some imperfections. But once you put the wax in there, it just kind of softens it all. Look how beautiful that just easily did. Now this one is a little bit bigger. It's got those scrolls at the top. And so I'm just going to just bury those scrolls in white wax. Let them sit a little bit and then come after them and rub it back. So I'm leaving the white wax in all the crevices like before. And there were a lot of, little bumps and holes and that sort of thing. But after I waxed, it just looked so pretty. And it really made it look aged and vintage. If I really wanted to go for a vintage look, we could have put some antique wax on it as well. And really watered down that antique wax and let it drip. And that would have been really pretty as well. Even a gray wax would have been nice. But since this is a Christmas video, then gold and white sounds appropriate. And of course, since I've got a wedding coming up, my daughter's wedding, that gold and white sounds perfect. So we might distress them a little bit more later. But for now, I love them. I think they both turned out beautifully. I can't pick a favorite, honestly. I like to work with the white wax, but the whitewash works. So if you don't have access to that particular kind of wax, just mix up a little bit of chalk paint with water and let that be your whitewash, and it just looks beautiful. Either way, I love them. Beautiful. Use those for so many things. All right, so let's get on to our last surprise. But I want to show you this first. Speaking of the wedding, my husband and I have been working on these little envelope inserts. And so since we had over 100, well over 100 to cut out for the invitations to the wedding, which we're working on right now, I had the Cricut down in the kitchen, and we were working in tandem trying to get these envelope little sleeves to go on. So after cutting out many of those things, that was the picture of our church, by the way. That's what's going to be inside the envelope. That's where Chandler proposed to Hope. Look what happened to my Cricut. It scored the cardstock, but it needed a new blade. So I thought I'd stick this in here since I'm going to show you in my next surprise decoupage, my last DIY. I'm going to change the blade, and I'd never done it before, so I had to look up how to do it. And so you take it out, you open up the little latch on the B section if you have an Explorer, and then you push down that little button, take out the blade real carefully, and then you push down the button again, push in the blade, and then let up on your finger, and the magnet will take it in there. And pop it back in the B, push the latch back, and it is all set to go. And watch this. I changed my setting. I changed the wheel to custom, and I put it on cardstock. And check this out. We had it on cardstock to begin with. We had it on paper. But look at that. Hacha. New blade. Love it. We went through another blade. That was a pack with 2 blades. So now I got to go buy more blades, but it'll be a long time before I'll need blades again. My goodness, we just cut lots of cardstock for those invitation envelopes. All right, so I'm just going to do this last DIY on a piece of cardboard. This is a side from, yep, there we go. I did both sides because anytime I spray cardboard or foam board, I always want to spray both sides, because if you just do one, the side that you sprayed or you painted or whichever, it's going to shrink up as the paint dries and the water evaporates. That paper on the cardboard or the foam core is going to shrink up, and so it's going to bow. So if you do both sides, you might still have a little bit of bowing, but it won't be as bad. It won't be as noticeable. So here I go. I did not waste. Oh, here we go. I used a little bit of Christmas green from Cream Coat. I didn't waste that white tree that didn't actually cut out completely. I cut it out with scissors. It did score it, so I could see where it was supposed to cut out. And so I decided to put a little green on it. But here we go. We're doing another surprise decoupage. So I've got my green tree, and I painted almost the whole thing. I decided to just whitewash or dry brush the tree. So a little bit when I sand it back of that green, if that comes through, that's okay. It's underneath a tree anyway. In this other Roycycled, this came off one of the pages that I cut up for the first DIY. This was another one of the pieces. Beautiful angel with a Christmas tree. I've been using these FIFO bottles. I ordered them from Amazon. I'll put them in the description box. FIFO, F-I-F-O, first in, first out. And I'm enjoying it. This is the liquid patina, the crystal clear chandelier. And this is the DIY, those natural paints that they suggest that you don't re-dip your brush back into because it could contaminate them. So the FIFO bottles have been working great. Alrighty, now here I go. I decided to, since it is cardboard, I would disguise that a little bit, and instead of sanding off my edges, I would just fold it down. So I'm going to get the paper and the liquid patina down into the cardboard and seal that up nicely. And here comes the magic. Here comes the surprise. Using my nail file and my sanding block, I'm just going to reveal any imperfections in the decoupage. Now I used a brayer on this one, so this one had a lot less imperfections, but there's the surprise. And you can see that Christmas tree coming through underneath the Christmas tree the angel's holding, just as clear as day, and a little bit of green showing through, a little bit of white, just perfect for the Christmas tree. And I just love the way that turned out. And so I tried to decide glitter, no glitter, glitter, no glitter. And I decided to leave the glitter off of this one and go again with the clear wax. Beautiful. I love the way that looks. So I'm going to give it a coat, let it dry, and then give it one more coat. Same thing that I did for the Merry Christmas board. 2 coats of clear wax makes it nice and matte and takes away any brush strokes that the sanding didn't take care of. So there we go. We've got our nice neat edges, and I decided instead of glitter I would go with some natural color beads. I got these on an after season sale at Hobby Lobby. They always have some kind of strands of beads, and when they're 60% off or 66% off, which the spring stuff is right now, so you can get nice garlands, nice spring garlands right now. But I got these for a nice price. It's a really good deal. So now I'm hot gluing these on the edge, but I'm doing it on wax paper. So if I usually craft on parchment paper so things don't stick, but I want this to stick. It's giving that extra little bit of security as I hot glue these to my little board, because it does have wax on it. The board, the sides do, for when I clear waxed. So I wanted to make sure that they were going to stay on this spray painted cardboard, and the the wax paper. So much wax. The wax paper is going to help just sure it up there. And so there it is. Just so light and sweet. And then you get up there close and you see your sweet face. And you see that beautiful little Christmas tree with that simple little design popping through. I just love the way this turned out. So sweet. And I just did a little floppy bow with some burlap and some fabric. So lovely. I just love the way this turned out. Thank you so much to the host to this playlist, Sarah from Jujubee DIY, and Lisa from Our Gray House, and Monica from Up All Night DIY is our guest host. Be sure to check out the playlist below and get lots of winter holiday inspiration. I want to leave you with one of my favorite verses from Isaiah 9:6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate you spending time with me on this July day, first Friday of July. My goodness, where is the summer going? It's been such a great summer. So exciting. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and I'll leave you with this. When he saw Jesus, John the Baptist said, "Look, the Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world." God bless you and your family. So from the Blue House on the Corner, celebrating Jesus yesterday, today, and tomorrow. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.